Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Keith Morrill, the founder and CEO of AquaRev Water, a cutting-edge health and hydration brand focused on creating hydrogen-infused water and wellness products that improve energy, recovery, and performance. With a background in business development and an eye towards market disruption in the health and nutrition space, Keith is reshaping the way we think about hydration. Keith, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you. And I appreciate you having me on this morning.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. So take us back to before you started your company, AquaRev Water. What were you doing at the time, and then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
I am an electrical contractor and engineer by trade, and I basically invented a way of infusing water with an additional atom of oxygen to it, and it does just wonders for the human body and just anything alive, really. And just put it together and got some investors and went for it, and here we are.
Nice. I would love for you to explain to us the early journey of how you were able to get investors on board, the product development, how long that kind of took place to create this. What does that look like?
I actually started it on swimming pools and spas, which we do a lot of. You can put one of the devices that alters the structure of the molecules of water onto a swimming pool and spa, and like I said, it changes everything. And then of course you can bottle that water, and you can market that as well. So there's what we're doing inside the chambers. We're creating what's called hydrodynamic cavitation, and that has been proven time and time again to do what we've gotten our patents and certifications and NSF listings for to do. And we just were able to basically figure out how to do it easier, cheaper, smaller, with no electricity, no moving parts, and got that particular device patented first, and ultimately we're first to market with it. And so that's how we got started. So we actually do both. We still do sell the devices for the pools and spas because everybody loves it, and it actually slows down the water evaporation for pools and spas. And so it's just an incredible side effect that water experiences. And so we've been able to harness that.
That is awesome. How did you get the investors on board?
Like I said, the biggest thing that the investors like is the fact that you can put the device on a pool and it'll slow down how much water will evaporate. Like today, for example, in our deserts, just take Nevada, for example, every pool will lose an inch of water today to evaporation.
Wow.
That's an enormous amount of water. Average is 650 gallons per pool per week on an annual basis. And so for the average size pool, that's 30,000 gallons of water that evaporates. Multiply that by the 220,000 pools that they have, you're pushing 8 billion gallons of water that evaporates. And so we're actually working with NASA and the SBA to get into what's called a SBIR program that we just applied for Friday, because NASA is trying to find some way of beating or getting ahead of, if you will, this water scarcity issue that our planet has. And swimming pools are in the top 5% of water wasters in the world, because first of all, they're everywhere. Again, Nevada, with its 220,000 pools, you're wasting 8 billion gallons of water a year. If every pool were to be mandated or incentivized in some way to have our device on there, we can cut that evaporation in half.
Wow.
Which would be literally 2 inches of lake mead every year.
Wow.
And, it's very significant. And what most people don't ever think about is, yes, some of that water comes from Lake Mead, Colorado River, but it's also a lot of that water is coming from our underground aquifers. 80% of the world's fresh water supply is actually underground.
Yeah.
for the simple purpose of it to avoid it from being evaporated. And
Interesting.
what we do when we put these cities, especially again, I fall back to Nevada, we're building in these cities and we're literally just drilling holes in the ground, going through and just getting water from these aquifers. We're using that water. And of course, we're putting that water on our pools in the backyards, and then that water evaporates. And then you have a 70% chance of that water coming back down because what goes up must come down because that water doesn't just go away. It turns into a gas and becomes part of our weather system, globally speaking. And it's going to come down in the form of bigger storms, right? Because we're adding water to the storms. That's why the storms are bigger every year. That's a fact. And then like I said, the planet being 70% ocean, we have a 70% chance of that water that we literally sucked out of the ground, put in our backyard pools, it's going to land in the ocean. And that's what's causing the oceans to rise more than the melting of the ice caps.
Wow. Wow. So there's a lot of things happening at the
Yes.
same time that
A
contribute.
lot of it truly is.
Yeah.
We could talk about the benefits of it all day long, but that's what makes it seem too good to be true.
Yep.
And so I try to stay focused on just the one or two things and let people try to
Yeah.
go to the website, read all the white papers that we have and the patents
Yeah.
and realize that this has been tried and true and tested and it's the real deal and it's
Hmm.
not expensive and it's something to
Yeah.
consider if you have a pool, try to be part of the solution versus the problem.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like there's a lot of different use cases and a lot of different markets you could go after. The pools and the
Yes.
spas, but then you've also got the whole home water purification system
Mhm.
that's competing with reverse osmosis in a sense. I know I have that installed in my home, reverse osmosis. I just thought it was the best one. I don't really know too much, but
Okay.
I would love for you to explain to us where does the majority of the revenue come with the business? Is the home?
It actually is a pretty good split between the whole house water purification system, the residential swimming pool device, and the commercial swimming pool device.
Got it.
I'm happy that you have reverse osmosis, but I'm guessing that the RO that you have is underneath your kitchen sink.
Yep.
Okay, so you're drinking that water, but that water is actually not very good for you because it's been stripped of everything. It's distilled water. There's no minerals in it. It's actually not really good for you. And it's one of the great things about our whole house water purification system is a couple of things. One, it lets the minerals go through. Minerals survive the hydrodynamic habitation process just fine. And if you're in the desert and spotting is an issue, we have an accessory we can take care of the spotting on your shower doors and your winery and whatnot. But the minerals is what makes the water taste good, and it's potassium and calcium and the things that are good for us. And so we ultimately our water, you get those things in the water, so it's healthy. And the other thing that most people don't realize is when you take a shower, you are going to consume
Yeah.
all of the contaminants that are in the water through your skin. And yes, having a reverse osmosis under your kitchen sink it helps, but it doesn't do everything.
Yeah. No.
There's lots of cities and towns in our country where there's lots of heavy metals, and you saw the whole thing in Flint, all of that. They would have poisoned themselves even if they were drinking bottled water
Yeah.
just by showering in it, washing your hands in it.
Wow. Wow. Is
So
that very
that's
interesting?
the big thing between that's the greatest reason for having the whole house water purification system is you're getting every drop of water that comes in. And one of the great benefits of our system is it's 2 feet by 2 feet, mounts on the wall, has two filters in it that'll last you pretty much a year. Replace them, it's $100. No electricity, no moving parts, no tanks, no salt, none of that. It's literally just a better mousetrap. And it's because we've
Yeah.
harnessed the power of hydrodynamic habitation inside that device as well.
I want you to touch upon hydrogen-infused water. Why is that beneficial? And when we say hydrogen-infused water, are we talking about our drinking water? And I'm also curious your perspective on hydrogen tabs, because I've seen a lot of biohackers talk about dropping a hydrogen tab in your water and it makes it so much better, but I don't really understand the benefits.
With my system, that's actually not what we're talking about. We're talking about the oxygen atom that is added to the water. It's
Okay,
not, it's not hydrogen that is actually responsible for these benefits.
got it, got it.
It's oxygen. So it's basically like being in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber when you do nothing but shower in this water and drink this water. And I tell all my clients who buy the home system, it's equally important to shower in it as it is to buy a good hydro flask before you go to work or the beach or whatever, and bring your water with you.
Got it.
And
Got
so that you're always getting that increase. And that just promotes healing in the body. It's actually really quite simple.
Okay. Can you explain to us some of the benefits of that? Like why it
Uh,
actually works in the body?
I'm not a physician, so I'm not going to try to pretend to be one. But if
Fair.
you just, it's literally all the same benefits of being in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber.
Got it.
The more oxygen our bodies get, the healthier we become. If you go to Denver right now and you try to run a 7-minute mile, you're going to be out of breath. You go
Yeah,
down to the beach where there's more oxygen, you won't. So again, I'm not a physician, so I'm not going to try to say anything hasn't already been said by physicians, because it just does all those things.
yeah, fair enough. It makes a lot of logical sense. I'm curious, have you ever heard of zero filter?
Yes,
Are
that
you?
is that's just a tiny filter that's in your
Yep.
refrigerator that is creating distilled water.
Yeah,
It had 0 parts of anything in it. And if you Google distilled water, there's not a lot of places where it says this is what you should be drinking.
they're really
I'm sorry,
the minerals are really the key, it sounds.
and electrolytes and all that stuff that your body is depleted of. When they invented Gatorade 100 years ago, they were truly onto something.
Yeah,
And that is to infuse it with additional electrolytes. So the idea of using reverse osmosis, or that any kind of filter that's going to take everything out,
yeah,
again, it's not recommended by the physicians.
yeah. I
Um,
make sure to remineralize my water, but the shower thing is something that I need to figure out and I need to really solve.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you
Um,
do when you think of your vision and what your top priorities are for the company? What does the future look like for AquaRev and HTC products?
we're truly focused on the pools and spas and the world's water scarcity issue.
Got it.
But let's just keep our minds in the United States for the moment. We're going to lose Florida. We're going to run out of the ability to live in Nevada in your lifetime, in my
Really?
lifetime. Lake Mead is down to almost nothing.
Wow.
And it's down 30 feet, and it's the biggest reservoir in the country. It feeds 9 states, 8 states plus a lot of Mexico. And at some point, they're going to basically stop people from being able to move there. As it is, they've decreased the amount of permits that they will issue for swimming pools by 90% in the last 5 years.
Because of this issue.
They've finally figured out, oh my God, properly balanced swimming pool water evaporates extraordinarily easily outdoors. And we are in a 0 humidity environment for 5 months out of the year, and you're losing an inch a day. And in the winter, you're still losing a half an inch because it's so
Wow.
dry. Yeah. And most people also don't realize, but indoor pools evaporate a lot of water as well. If you've ever been in an indoor aquatic center, right, where you can actually see drips of water on the ceiling and the windows are all fogged up, that's because the water is evaporating, it has nowhere to go.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's
A lot
lots
of
of,
sense now.
yeah, there's a lot of negative side effects to that as well.
Yeah.
And we fix that problem.
Wow.
And the other thing is, when you're using chlorine, which salt pools use as well, please don't be mistaken when you think that, oh, I'll just go salt when I won't be using chlorine. Salt pools are a little better, but they still use chlorine to disinfect the water. There's absolutely no difference. Excuse me. So chlorine has an incredibly negative effect on the environment because it just makes a big hole in the ozone layer. And then when you're using chlorine to disinfect the pool, you're creating an off gas, and that's that chlorine-like smell that you smell. And that off gassing is a chemical byproduct called chloramines. And that's what creates swimmer's lungs. That's what hurts your eyes. That's what burns your skin. It's really not the chlorine, it's the chloramines.
Got
They're incredibly corrosive, and they also create a big hole in our ozone layer. And we reduce all of those things substantially. We're not here to say you don't need chlorine, that you'll never use it, but we are here to say, if you use our product, you'll use dramatically less.
it.
And basically, it's about 50% across the board on everything: water evaporation, chlorine consumption, chloramine production. And for as affordable as the device is to purchase, as easy as it is to install, and the fact that it has zero maintenance to it, and it'll literally run for 30 years because it just has no moving parts. And it's just creating a reaction inside the water as your existing pump was just literally pushing the water through it. I've installed them in as little as 10 minutes. A difficult install is an hour. And it just balances the pH and has all those other benefits to it. And so it's tell my pool cleaning partners, we're literally trying to prolong your profession with this device, because we're trying to keep the politicians and decision makers and the permit department from basically disallowing you to build any more pools. Because at
Yeah.
some point, if we don't do something, that's what they're going to be forced to do, given the amount of water that a pool actually consumes.
Crazy. That's crazy. I had no clue that this problem even existed. So I
That's
guess,
the problem. And the water that I'm referring to is only the water that evaporates. That
wow.
doesn't include when you do a cannonball and you make a big splash.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
goes 5 to 10 more gallons. That doesn't include every time someone comes out of the pool, they're bringing anywhere from 1 to 3 gallons with them. I'm just strictly talking about, pools that have been studied by PhDs as to just how much water evaporates.
crazy.
And you can do it yourself at home if you're curious. Go to Home Depot, get a 5 gallon bucket, then go to your pool in your backyard, fill that bucket up to the top, and put it right next to your pool, and watch how much water evaporates out of the pool,
Get the bucket.
and then get my system and then do the same thing. And
Yeah.
you'll see that the pool will go down 4 inches in a couple days and the bucket will not. Or the other way, yeah, the other way around,
The
sorry.
other way around. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very interesting. So I guess it sounds like the biggest focus now, like for you guys, is just getting the word out there and getting
Yes,
in front of all
exactly. We believe that we have done everything that needs to be done. We have
yeah.
4 patents. The name of the patent is the hydrodynamic habitation device. And we got that in March of 2020, which was basically when the world shut down. So I lost 2 years there. And then 3 years ago, I had a personal issue that cost me a year. And then we did some studies in the desert at the laboratory where I literally built 2 pools in their parking area. And we just tested the heck out of them, one with my device on it, one without. And we saw all these incredible differences in evaporation, chloramine production, chlorine consumption. And we've also tested for heavy metals. And then we're NSF 50 certified, which is a big deal. There's only 4 or 5 devices in the world that have that. And what that ultimately is a global permit or permission slip to install the device on commercial bodies of water. Otherwise, you just can't.
Yeah.
The health department will shut you down. So we have that. And for our home system, we also have acquired NSF 372. So all of our stuff has been tested by all the global authorities, labs, whatever you choose to call them. And we have all the certifications. So we have all the striping that we need. So now it's time for education and awareness, and then getting some investors. We're just now looking in the angel investor space.
Nice.
And then of course, once we get another infusion of cash, then we can of course hire lobbyists. And what we want to do is get tax credits attached to this thing,
How
because we feel that where we are right now is where solar electricity was 25 years ago. You
nice.
couldn't sell it because the payoff was 20 years.
Yeah.
And then they threw a bunch of money at it. They made it obvious to the decision makers of our country that, hey, it's worth your while to put the 30% and 35% tax credits onto solar electricity. That way you guys have to build fewer and fewer electrical substations and produce less and less electricity.
Yeah.
So it paid for itself in that regard. So we're looking at it, and we've actually applied to NASA for their assistance through a grant program that they put out. Literally the same thing. And again, Nevada, they have to fight literally in courts for the water rights, for the water that they need. And then they have to clean that water. And then they have to pump that water from Lake Mead to, say, Henderson. That pump is bigger than your pickup truck.
Yeah.
And so if you're evaporating that much less water, basically we'll go low. Just 2 billion gallons in a year. You're going to be able to slow that pump down and save an enormous amount of electricity. And
Yeah.
that pump will last a lot longer. So it does behoove the government to say, hey, let's put a $300 tax credit on a device that costs $800. And
Yeah.
now you're going to get the homeowner to say, wow, this thing will pay for itself every just June, July, and August.
Yeah.
It's paid year over year. And the most important thing that it really does for the homeowner is it just creates a much more enjoyable swim.
Yeah.
Because you're not creating the chloramines, the water is not attacking you.
Yeah.
And so when you get out, you don't, your skin and your hair and your eyes are not screaming, hey, let's take a shower and get this chlorine and salt off of my body, because it's just not it's just not taking place. And so in turn, then you're saving even more water because
Yeah.
you're not taking that rinse shower.
For sure.
So by the time you put all the benefits together, we're hoping that we can get, like I said, tax credits associated to this, which will make all the difference in the world.
That's exciting. Keith, I have to say, truly, I'm grateful for you and for people like you that have the expertise, that have the desire to create technologies like this in the world. And this is what it comes down to. This is what people like me who know nothing about this stuff, we benefit from your hard work, and I really am grateful for that. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I really appreciate you saying that. That's ultimately what we're truly trying to do is
Yeah.
we're trying to offer the world mitigation to the world's water scarcity issue. Because if you do a little bit of homework, you will realize that A, water is the next gold, and B, the next world war will be fought over water
Mm.
because
For,
we are running out.
yeah. For people that want to help you in your mission, whether that's connecting you with capital, investing capital, or purchasing some of the products that you guys offer or the systems that you guys offer, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Go to the website, please, which is
Okay.
very simple. It's AquaRevWater.com. You can educate yourself. You can read the white papers. And then towards the end is my personal phone number, and you can email me and we can go from there. But I'm very reachable.
Awesome. Awesome. Keith, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ammar. Appreciate you having me on today.
Anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're looking to scale your business and really enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.